Hello, look at this beautiful day. We're on our last chapter of From Hand to Mouth by James Cross Giblin. Hey, no pecking my feet, chickens. You might have some trouble with the chickens. We only have a little bit left of this book, and I'm sort of sad because I've really enjoyed it. We are on chapter 7, Forks in Tokyo, Chopsticks in Chicago. It is 7:30 a.m. on a school day, and 11-year-old David is running late. 11-year-old David. David, if you're listening, that's funny to think of you as 11 years old, and it's not about our David, by the way. His parents have already left for the long commute to their jobs in the city, and David's school bus will be coming down the road in less than 10 minutes. David knows he should eat a bowl of cereal. In fact, Mom left him a reminder on the refrigerator, but there just isn't time. Instead, he pours out a small glass of orange juice and a large glass of milk, then swigs them down between bites of a banana he found on the counter. Then, grabbing his backpack and a donut, he hurries out of the house and down the road to the bus stop. In eating his breakfast, David didn't use a single utensil. Sounds like he's also giving himself a stomachache. The main course at lunch in the school cafeteria is a hot dog served with baked beans on a paper plate. From habit, David picks up a set of plastic utensils, knife, fork, and spoon, on his way to the table, and as things turn out, he needs them all to eat his beans. First, the handle of the fork breaks off, then the handle of the spoon. Forgetting his table manners, David scoops up the remaining beans on his knife like a boy in the Middle Ages. That evening, Dad had to stay in the city for a business dinner, and Mom is getting home late. She and David decide to have a light, quick supper in the recreation room while they watch TV. David helps her make ham and cheese sandwiches and pours out 2 glasses of milk. For dessert, they eat a couple of crisp red apples. The kitchen drawers are filled with stainless steel utensils, but neither David nor his mother uses any of them. Like David and his mother, many people eat on the run today. Everyone operates on his or her own schedule. They often fail to get together even for the traditional evening meal at which families once gathered to share their experiences of the day while they observed good manners. Table manners have also suffered from the rebellious mood of the 1960s and 1970s. In those years, people questioned the need for rules and structure in the many different areas of life. They believed it was better to be natural than to be civilized, and made fun of people who still thought it was important to know when and how to use their knives and forks. As a result, many people today, both young and old, feel embarrassed and confused when they find themselves in an unfamiliar dining situation. For example, a 15-year-old boy from Chicago's suburb confessed that before he left home for boarding school, he ate like a slob. Once I went to a big dinner meeting with my father, the boy said, and when they served spaghetti, I didn't know what to do, so I ate it with my hands. I just slurped it up and put it in my mouth. Believe me, my dad took some grief about that. I have Angus here just hanging out wanting to sleep. I'm going to show you really quick because it's so cute. Look at this. This is my friend over here. People in other parts of the world are having trouble with their table utensils too. As an American-style fast food restaurants become more popular in Japan, parents there fear that their children won't learn how to use chopsticks correctly. Research conducted in 1935 showed that most Japanese youngsters mastered the use of chopsticks by the age of 3. Now the average age is 6, and many never attain the skill at all. To conceal their lack of technique and avoid accidents, these children often keep their heads close to the plate. Ooh, my goodness. This is called eating dog style. Some children never spear their food with chopsticks, which is unacceptable in Japan as eating peas with a knife is in the United States. So you're not supposed to spear your food with chopsticks. I cheat and do that sometimes. Whoops. Mostly with like chicken, something like that. I guess, I don't know. Many people blame the chopstick decline on the spread of Western foods in Japan and the need to eat them with a knife and fork. In fact, Japanese children today often learn to eat with a special implement that has a spoon on one end and a fork on the other. Other Japanese commentators say the fault lies with the nation's education system. They claim that it places so much emphasis on the test taking that there's little time left to teach Japanese children the basic skills required for daily living. Still others maintain that neither Western food nor poor schooling is to blame. It's parents who are the cause of this problem, says a Japanese professor of this preschool education. They themselves never learned how to handle chopsticks properly, so how can they teach their children? Many Japanese organizations and businesses are taking steps to improve the situation. The Tokyo Police Department gives new recruits a crash course in chopstick use and etiquette. Here's a picture of a Japanese boy who uses chopsticks incorrectly by crossing them instead of holding them even. Courtesy of Haruyoshi Yamaguchi, New York Times Pictures. It's another thing that can happen by accident when you're learning how to use chopsticks, and I guess it's not proper. But as we're learning, there are lots of different ways to use utensils, and it's questionable whether or not it really matters how you use them, as long as your community feels like you're being, I guess, polite. Corporations offer their employees 2 hours of chopstick training every week for 3 months. Wow. And Japanese supermarkets and department stores now stock trainer chopsticks, plastic devices with loops to show children where to put their fingers. I've seen those on the aisles of Uwajimaya and Beaverton. In 1984, one manufacturer of trainer chopsticks reported the sale of 10,000 pairs a day. People in the United States and other parts of the Western world are trying to halt the decline of table manners in their countries, too. Practical, up-to-date books like Miss Manners' Guide to Excruciatingly Correct Behavior by Judith Martin have become bestsellers. Recently, a national network of etiquette consultants has sprung up in the U.S. These consultants lecture regularly at the major business schools and fly all over the country to conduct special courses in table behavior for young executives. Table manners are crucial, said one executive who took such a course. When you have an important client and the possibility for a big sale, you don't want to blow the opportunity by spilling your soup or putting your dirty knife down on the tablecloth. In recent years, there's also been a trend towards the transfer of eating utensils from one culture to another. Just as many Japanese now eat some foods with forks, so more and more Americans are attempting to use chopsticks when they go out to a Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, or Korean restaurant, or when they cook Oriental foods at home. They say that sweet and sour pork and sushi taste much better when eaten with chopsticks. On the other hand, the Chinese who invented chopsticks are questioning whether they are always the best utensil for eating. Through the centuries, Chinese families have traditionally dipped their personal chopsticks straight into a single serving pot. Now some Chinese doctors are saying that this practice helps to spread infectious diseases such as hepatitis. The former chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, Hu Yaobang, joined in the discussion. We should prepare more knives and forks, buy more plates, and sit around the table to eat Chinese food in the Western manner, that is, each from his own plate, Chairman Hu said in a 1984 speech. By doing so, we can avoid many contagious diseases. It's doubtful, however, whether the Chinese people will soon give up a style of eating that has endured for at least 2,500 years. It's equally doubtful that a majority of Westerners will ever put aside their knives and forks in favor of chopsticks. What's more likely is that everywhere, people will continue to experiment with one another's table utensils. And who knows, perhaps in time they will find a common solution to the age-old problem: how to get food as swiftly, gracefully, and neatly as possible from hand to mouth. And that is the end of our book. I wanted to double check and see when it was published. Let's see. Oh, there it is, 1987. So that was quite a long time ago, wasn't it? Especially thinking about why we're all staying home. I'm sure that we're all being more careful about not sharing utensils and things like that when we're in larger communities. But with your own family and you're all staying home, it's what your parents decide. Anyway, I would like to give you some follow-up to this, and I'll be putting up an activity tomorrow on Seesaw where you can do some sort of follow-up about what we read. You can do something about the knives, the forks, the spoons, the chopsticks, the table manners, any of those things, and I'll give you some suggestions on there, and that might get you started. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Have a wonderful day.